Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And thank you for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's get started. I was deeply in love with my wife, Judy, for 20 years, ever since the night I met her at a college graduation party. We had never met before that day, even though we had both attended the same college for 4 years. What impressed me most that day was my wife's knowledge of the expensive scotch she brought to the party, which we all enjoyed while singing along to various Beatles songs, especially when I'm 64. We were in a bit of a drunken stupor. Her father owned a high-end liquor store, and she worked there. We spent the next hour talking about whiskey and bourbon, and she invited me to a whiskey tasting that weekend at the store. We've been together ever since. She still works there as the office manager, while I sell carpeting. It's not the most exciting job, but with her paycheck, it pays the bills. My wife and I love the Beatles song When I'm 64. The DJ played it at our wedding for our first dance. We have 3 children, Vera, Chuck, and Dave. In honor of our favorite song, when my wife was pregnant again with a girl, we couldn't decide whether to name her Lucy or Rita, also after Beatles songs. Unfortunately, my wife suffered a miscarriage, and frankly, she never truly recovered from the loss. Nothing I did or said could comfort her. She blamed me for the loss because I had been so insistent on having a 4th child. Looking back, I think that was the beginning of the end for our marriage. She no longer wanted intimacy or even to hug me. I hoped she just needed a few months to recover from the miscarriage, so I tried to be patient with her. For my 40th birthday last year, my father-in-law gave me a $600, 25-year-old bottle of Glenlivet Scotch. I hadn't opened it yet. I was saving it for a special occasion. My wife gave me a gym membership, telling me to lose the beer belly and take better care of myself. She also suggested I get hair plugs to fix my receding hairline. She's not subtle. She works out at the gym twice a week and still weighs the same as when I first met her. I admit I've let myself go a bit. I can find time to work, but I don't have the energy for both working out and earning a living. A month later, I had a tough day at work, losing a large commercial sale after being undercut on price. I came home hoping to unwind with some of that scotch, but when I opened the liquor cabinet, I found the bottle had been opened and about 4 shots of scotch were gone. I was furious. I have 3 teenage children, and I wanted to know which one of them had broken the rules by drinking alcohol, especially such an expensive bottle. I knew they would each point fingers at the others, and I'd never get to the truth. So I installed a motion sensor camera in the bookshelf opposite the liquor cabinet. When I found out who drank the scotch, there would be consequences. Loss of car privileges for at least a month would just be the start. I'm not a strict disciplinarian, but I do set firm boundaries on important issues like underage drinking or drug use. Frankly, I was surprised that one of my kids would test me like this. It was uncharacteristic of them. They were good kids, but I guess teenagers sometimes push limits to see how far they can go. 3 days later, I noticed even more scotch was missing. I checked the memory card from the hidden camera, and to my shock, I found a video of my half-naked wife with a completely naked man as he poured scotch for both of them. He wasn't younger or in better shape than I was, so I couldn't understand why she was with him. But one look at well, let's just say I understood what she saw in him. I had never cheated on my wife, and I would never have believed she could cheat on me if I hadn't seen the undeniable proof. I realized that if I stayed in the house, I might do something that would put her in the hospital and me in jail. So I left to cool off, getting on my bicycle for a few hours. 2 hours of bike riding is better for reducing stress than 2 hours of drinking. And I don't wake up with a hangover. I later learned that when he regained consciousness, he was handcuffed to a hospital bed. Disoriented, he didn't understand what had happened at first. He claimed that my wife had invited him into our house, and somehow he had lost consciousness. The police had searched the house and confirmed that my wife wasn't there. He then claimed that he and my wife had been having an affair for months. Their relationship had been so secretive that no one knew about it, and no one could verify his story. He suggested that I must have drugged him, explaining that he had drunk some of my scotch. The police returned to my house, examined the clean sheets on the bed, and took the untouched bottle of scotch for lab testing. My sister knew everything that had happened and threatened to expose my wife's affair to the world if she defended her lover. I demanded that my wife stay in Mexico and avoid any subpoenas forcing her to testify for him until after his trial. I wanted that scumbag to go to jail, and I promised her a better divorce settlement if she complied. The lover called his wife and begged her to bail him out, but when she found out why he was in jail, she refused. A few days later, the lab report confirmed that he had the date rape drug in his system, but none was found in the scotch bottle. The police concluded that he had intentionally taken the drug, some of which was found in his pants pocket on the living room floor. Some people use it intentionally for the high it provides. He was sentenced to 90 days in jail. He was my wife's dentist, and he lost his license because of the drugs found on him. Of course, with the fingers on his right hand broken, he couldn't practice dentistry anyway. I waited 3 months to divorce my wife. We rented out our house, so there were no issues with that. I gave her a 60-40th split of our assets as promised, as long as she didn't testify in her lover's defense. Trying to keep more would have cost me more in legal fees than I would have saved. She knew better than to fight it. I never told my children or anyone else the truth. As far as everyone knew, my wife had been faithful, and we had just grown tired of each other. That was 25 years ago. Since then, I've met a beautiful woman 10 years younger than me, who has fallen completely in love with me. I even joined a gym to try to tone up my body, though I'm afraid it didn't work, at least not in the 3 months I tried. Of course, I miss my wife, but I could never reconcile with her because I could never trust her again. When her lover got out of jail, they reconnected. After both of their divorces, they married each other. Her new husband now works at his father-in-law's liquor store, a far cry from his previous life as a rich dentist. At my oldest grandson's first birthday party, my ex-wife's new husband had a few drinks and yelled at me for ruining his life by drugging him. "You're just saying that to make me feel better," I taunted, laughing in his face. After their mother's 20th wedding anniversary with her second husband, my children informed me that she was happy. Even though I've been alone all these years, I don't regret divorcing her. I couldn't live with a cheater. If I can't trust a woman, I can't love her. A few times a year, I travel to Nevada, where adult entertainment is legal, to spend time with an escort named Cindy. Sometimes we're not even intimate. I just take her out for dinner because I miss female companionship. Cindy knows my life story and came up with an idea I loved. What keeps me sane is that my 3 children live just a few minutes away. I babysit for my grandchildren a few days a week, and that fills me with more joy than I can express. The scientists who claim there is no such thing as a perpetual motion machine have never met my 2-year-old grandson, John, or his 3-year-old cousin, Lucy. After my grandkids run me rag for a few hours, their parents take them home, and I usually fall asleep on my couch because I'm too tired to walk upstairs to my bedroom. It's the best kind of tired. My wife's betrayal denied me the life I dreamed of, but my grandchildren are more than adequate compensation. I guess the saying, "once a cheater, always a cheater," holds true. When her new husband turned 63, my ex-wife caught him cheating with a 30-year-old woman on his birthday. He met my special friend Cindy when she came into the liquor store, and Cindy seduced him as a favor to me. My ex received a text telling her to go to a motel room and find her husband with another woman. It cost me more than a couple of dollars, but I loved the revenge. The art of war was so far in the past that no one thought I had anything to do with it. As they say, revenge is a dish best served cold. The next week, my ex and I were both at our daughter's house when my crying ex-wife criticized me for not being empathetic to her pain. She said I couldn't understand how much it hurt to have someone I loved betray me. That's when I realized how foolish she was. Judy decided she didn't need her new husband anymore and would no longer feed him. She divorced him when he turned 64. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.